Stop with the questions. Celebrate.
And then they say, is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person. Yosemite's one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
Well, you haven't. Person, woman, man, camera, TV. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy.
Amazing.
He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole.
Big, massive dumps.
Oh, I have a term for that. I call it corporate communism.
Somebody sent me a thing this morning where they're talking about putting the vaccine into salad dressing.
You see, this is a simple meme that you would find on the internet, but this meme is very real.
You ain't seen nothing yet until you see the flaming butthole.
Putting us on our knees to China.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
The brand new F-35s, fighter jets, they're stealth. You can't see them.
It's like a shark, NATO, except with poop.
What's up, everybody? It's Monday. Welcome to the show. Brand new week. Election week. We got midterms coming up tomorrow. Crap. Really kind of snuck up us, honest, didn't it? But hey, you know what the great thing is about midterms? Regardless of whatever way it goes, you know, whether we have more fascists in office or not, at least we can stop with the political ads. Let me tell you what, one of the things that I have a huge problem with is there's an ad playing in Michigan about Proposal 3, which I thought I wanted to bring that up because it's a great example of gaslighting. One of the biggest examples you could ever see. If you've seen those commercials, Proposal 3 is, of course, the amendment to legalize abortion, to guarantee the right to reproductive freedom in the state. Opponents, and I've been seeing these ads, they're just saying ridiculous things. Like things that just absolutely are not true. Not a shred of truth in these ads at all, which again doesn't surprise me. And then they have the audacity to come out and say things like, Proposal 3, too complicated, too extreme. And I'm like, motherfucker, that's not complicated, for one. And the reason that you're saying it's complicated, first of all, you're assuming that all your voters are idiots, which may or may not be true in certain cases. And secondly, the only reason that it's complicated is because you keep lying your asses off about it. Like, holy shit. Constantly lying. Anyway, you can say, I'm tired of the ads. I'm really tired of the ads. Election season. Jesus. Okay, anyway. Wow, that's a way to start off on a rage, but okay. A little bit of a tangent. But we have stories. We have fun stories. We have disastrous stories as usual. Fun, we'll start out with Elon Musk. I enjoy that. True Social. We got Donald Trump reigniting the feud with Ron DeSantis. Voters weigh in on Boebert, on whether or not she's too crazy. There is also an oath keeper that is testifying today. So, yeah, we're going to check in on that as well. With that said, why don't we dive in? start out with some fun. Oh boy. Chief Twit Elon Musk has caught some feelings after several large Twitter accounts decided to give him a crash course in why a real verification process is needed on social media. Now, recently, of course, Elon Musk introduced a new verification process, which will take effect after the midterms. And, you know, the verification process would, of course, give users a blue check mark, but it's only if they pay them $8 a month.
I'm not worth your McDonald's money?
No, you're not. That blue check, really not worth anything to average people. Now, that said, verification is kind of an important thing, and verification used to be free because the whole point is to make sure people would not impersonate you on Twitter. So this is for journalists, politicians, comedians, public figures of interest, that and it's to ensure that they're all, you know, who they say they are. It's authentic and not somebody belonging to somebody who wants to impersonate them. And of course, in order to get verified, it requires a submission of identification and an example, of course, why you should be verified, why you are a person of note, a person of interest. And that makes sense. Not if you open this up, and I've said this before, to rando accounts that are willing to cough up cash for something that was not only, previously free, it not only destroys a point, but, it invites bots and trolls, troll farms that have the extra money. And really, this entire thing is a desperate cash grab as a result of Elon Musk freaking out because he was forced to buy $44 billion worth of Twitter, which was not worth $44 billion. This is just nothing more than Elon Musk's midlife crisis. Well done. Now, that said, several Twitter users, some of whom are verified in the platform, some of them pretty big names, millions of followers, started changing their display names to Elon Musk, which is hilarious, and then mocked his plan, which hurt, of course, his feelings. Sad. Baby.
Beta male.
Among those that had done so and then were summarily suspended as a result of it. Yeah. We're Kathy Griffin, right? Kathy Griffin had posted using Trump's display name, as well as, name, urged Americans to vote for Democrats, which, funny enough, Elon Musk comes out and says, you should vote for Republicans in the midterm. So, obviously total mask off moment, but we already knew that. I mean, the mask has been off for quite some time, that he favors Republicans. He always has favored Republicans. And it kind of shows the direction that he wants to take Twitter. So, that said, Kathy Griffin, here's what got her suspended. She wrote, I've decided that voting blue for their choice is only right. As Elon Musk, of course. YouTuber Ethan Klein of H3H3, he was also suspended for this. That's funny, even though Jeffrey Epstein committed crimes. I still miss this for work. Rest in peace. And you can see that second part right there, suspended. Hey, wait a minute. It says parody account on it. Well, now hold on. Before I get to that, by the way, I also just want to go to the reaction from this wave of impersonations, both from Elon Musk and his followers. In fact, you can sum it up as this.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions of families suffer every year.
They're suffering identity theft. But wait, it's not actually identity theft. You're just changing your profile name. Hey, if only there was something there to prevent this from happening. Like a verification system, perhaps. I know. No, seriously, though, he said this. Going forward, any Twitter handles engaging in impersonation without clearly specifying parody will be permanently suspended. But wait a minute, Ethan Klein's page said parody on it. He also said, previously we issued a warning before suspension. But now that we are rolling out widespread verification, you know, for anybody who wants to cough up $8, there will be no warning. Well, I just showed you, you know, Ethan Klein, but here's another one. Here's another example. Huh? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. It says parody right on it. I don't understand. It's clearly marked as parody. Huh. It's almost as if Elon Musk doesn't actually care about free speech. Which is funny because before he bought Twitter, we need to legalize comedy again. In fact, here's a fun little meme somebody put together about that. Legalize comedy. Comedy is now legal. Going forward, any Twitter handles engaging in impersonation without clearly specifying parody would be permanently suspended. What happened to comedy? What happened to free speech? Oh, right. Free speech costs you $8. Of course. Oh. Now there's plenty of tweets here. I'm going to read one here from Catabassist. It says, the fun thing about posting mean jokes about Elon Musk on Twitter is, you know, there's a startling huge chance he is going to read it and it will hurt his feelings.
Beta male.
No witness.
Beta.
Okay. But look, I know some people going back to the whole impersonation thing. Twitter's policy is always prohibited impersonation. That was the whole point of bringing out the verified system, the blue check mark. But again, if you're going to give any rando the ability to buy a check mark, then you're going to have impersonation. It's going to happen. And now there's a couple more examples, by the way, of Elon Musk really just targeting people making fun of him, as opposed to actually being even-handed when it comes to enforcing their own damn policies. For one, they include a user whose page impersonated Andy No, who appealed to Musk personally to take action, and someone whose page impersonated actor Keanu Reeves to criticize Musk's parody policy. But you could say, oh, look, maybe he's not enforcing it on everyone else, impersonating people who don't, who aren't right-wingers, or, impersonating other people that are not Elon Musk. Well, they can't police everyone because they don't have any staff left. And why would there not be that much staff? Oh, right. Elon Musk fired a bunch of people. 7,500 workers. In fact, just days after cutting its workforce in half, Musk realized, I think we need employees. Oh, you call me crazy, but we're a company and we need people to work for us. Oh no, who know what they're doing? According to Bloomberg, citing two sources within the company, the outlet reported management at Twitter had come to the realization that it either let some workers off by accident, I'm sure you did, or without realizing their experience was essential to building the features Elon Musk wants to bring to the platform. This guy has no idea what he's doing. No, he's an idiot. He's a dipshit. And look, I love it when billionaire fail sons are exposed for who they are. This is a great example of that. Elon Musk is not super smart, super intelligent. No, he's a man-child who was given an emerald mine. Anybody in similar circumstances that was born with that type of immense wealth and privilege would make it just as big, maybe if not bigger. Look, if you were to take any lessons from this hilariously dumb saga, it's that the meritocracy that we've been sold our entire life, only the best and brightest become the wealthiest. Complete and utter lies and fabrications. Just, let me find the right word for it. Oh, yeah, bullshit. Speaking of fail sons, move on to our favorite fail son. Former President Donald Trump might be kicking himself as Truth Social continues its downward spiral to complete collapse. According to the Washington Post, Donald Trump had once considered bailing on his startup after being offered another social media deal. Now, ultimately, of course, he chose to stick around, compounding the, of course, long history of terrible Trump decisions when it comes to business. I know, shocker. Now, back in 2021, the former president had a meeting with the creators of what became the latest iteration of Trump Steaks. That is the famous Truth Social, otherwise known as
Truth Central.
As the Washington Post Josh Dawsey and Drew Harwell wrote, the co-founders of former President Donald Trump's post-presidential startup, Trump Media and Technology Group, had a name for June 11, 2021. Meltdown Day, regarding their Trump face-to-face. Meltdown Day. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's great. Now, look, during that time, Trump was weighing a competing offer from a former White House advisor with a $5 million a year promise. Jason Miller with Gitter. But two men, Andy Litinsky and Wes Moss, who were linked to former president by his reality TV show, The Apprentice, pitched a web of conservative-aimed business ventures, including Truth Social. According to the Post, in late June, Moss, Litinsky, and Wilkerson, another person involved, traveled to Trump Tower in New York to demonstrate a Truth Social prototype, which is basically upgraded Mastodon, which is open source. All right. Now, they were showing this prototype off to Eric and Don Jr. The men compiled a presentation showing off company milestones, including the raising of millions of dollars in private investment from the SPAC, or blank check company, and the installation of key personnel for Trump's company, according to a copy of the document. However, at the same time, Trump was pondering completing a deal offered by former aide Jason Miller, who was promising the $5 million a year as well as a stake in the company. Again, that company being Gitter. Gitter. I'm sorry. Why would you name it Gitter? I get it. It rhymes with Twitter. And it sounds like somebody, again, not to bag on people, in the South or anything like that. But come on, it sounds like a bad. I don't know if I can even say it. It's just bad. It's bad. Why would you name it that? It's terrible. All right. Anyway, but let's move on. Now, after a flurry of activity by the people behind Trump Media and Technology, including a lawyer who wrote the elimination of Donald J. Trump's exclusive commitment to Trump Media Group's product offering, essentially renders the TMG initiative unbankable. The former president was then convinced to stay the course as a result of that, because then it wouldn't get off the ground. Okay, so again, this adds to another in what was a terrible string of business decisions, like Trump Air, Trump Water, Trump Steaks, Trump Ice. Was there Trump Ice? Might have been a Trump Ice. All sorts of different terrible Trump products that didn't work. Went out of business. Trump University. That was a literal scam. Now, the company, TMTG, also known as a pump and dump, or what I would like to call a Trump and dump. Yeah.
Dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
They were supposed to merge with a with a blank check company, SPAC, called Digital World Acquisition, in order to get the much-needed $300 million in funding that they were just sitting on. That has been on hold as a result of ongoing federal investigations. Plus, you have the company's merger deadline getting postponed 6 times in the past 2 months. Most recently, on Thursday, an indication that the SPAC still does not have the votes in order to seal the deal. The liquidation of that SPAC, because again, they're on borrowed time here, is scheduled for December 8th if the extension still has not been passed, which would basically get rid of all that money. All that investor money right back to the investors, who would then breathe a sigh of relief. Again, that would be disastrous, obviously, for True Social. Not only they not get this much needed funding, but also they wouldn't be able to pay their bills because right now they're behind. TMTG owes the web hosting service RightForge millions of dollars in unpaid bills. Last I knew, that was in August, 1.6 million. It's likely much more now. Oops. Disaster. Now, none of this would be surprising, as, you know, Donald Trump is a terrible businessman. We've known this for a very, very long time. But adding to their issues is something that was unexpected, and that's Elon Musk taking over Twitter. Now, that's feeding speculation that Donald Trump could dump Truth Social, doing the pump and dump, the dump part of the pump and dump. I don't really know how much he's going to actually be able to walk away with. There's nothing there. Still, nothing there but debt. Though I'm sure he'll find a way. Because they always seem to find a way to screw over, you know, everyone else, investors, etc., and still get paid. What are you going to do? Now, that said, why would Trump leave True Social hastening its decline? Well, just because Elon Musk took over Twitter. Again, that depends on Elon Musk. He's going to let Donald Trump back in the platform. Anything's possible. That said, that depends on the advertisers, right? Or if Elon Musk can find some way to bring in enough money. That seems unlikely. So the advertisers are already running away. But again, as I told you before, my favorite thing right now to watch is Fail Sons Failing. You got Elon Musk scaring advertisers and getting dunked on by both the left and the right. Interesting. All ganging up to beat up on Elon Musk, albeit for different reasons. And then you also have the sentient android known as Mark Zuckerberg losing billions of dollars on VR nobody wants to use. No, I don't want to go shopping in the metaverse. You weirdo. Just let me message my friends and that's it. And go, you know, look at Facebook page. That's all I want. I don't want to do this in the metaverse. Okay? I don't really care. I don't want to go shopping in VR. Ridiculous. And then, of course, you have Donald Trump blowing up True Social because he's Donald Trump and he's an idiot. You know, the lesson here, other than billionaires are not smarter or better than us and are actually pretty stupid, is that social media companies are hard to create. They really are, especially if you cater to a very small demographic of people. Zuckerberg, great example. How many people you think are going to use VR to go in the empty-ass Horizon worlds? Not very many. Not very many at all. They're not interested. Again, I would wager that there's actually a really small amount of people who have VR sets. I happen to be one of them. And I'm not interested in Horizon. All right? And then you have all the right-wing social media site knockoffs. You remember Reagan Book? Whatever happened to Reagan Book? Hey, gone. Whatever all the different Trump singles or MAGA singles, you know, these, again, weirdo dating sites on the right, gone. They either don't exist anymore, or they're incredibly niche and small. Same thing with, you know, Gitter and Parler and Gab, which is full of Nazis. All these different sites. They're just trying to grab a minority of a minority. They're not going to grow. And that's because of design, by design. If you cater to a small amount of people, you can't be surprised you're going to get a very small amount of people. That said, Trump might now walk away. He told, he told some allies that he's not going to go anywhere. Not because he thinks that this is going to be a success. No, it's because it's going to look really bad if I walk away. Well, what's worse? Leaving before it collapses or going down with the literal ship? I'm just saying, either one of those things is probably going to happen. Unless you have some billionaire Peter Thiel coming out and saving it. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm sure he's got his own issues. But anyway, Trump told his allies that he cannot leave because he's propping it up, and he doesn't want a site so closely associated with his brand to collapse. You mean another one? According to people familiar with his thinking, he's spoken to the condition of anonymity to discuss internal matters, according to the Post. What's funny is like, oh, I'm propping it up. I'm the only thing that is keeping Truth Social from falling into disaster. You know, that is not a great admission. Well done. Great. But no, he's not even understanding, though. The biggest problem with Truth Social is Donald Trump. That's why it's doomed. That's why it's always been doomed. Literally no reason to go to Truth Social. Unless you, like, love Donald Trump. And really, really love him. Or have been kicked off Twitter. Just like there's no reason to go to the metaverse. No, look, if you want to, I know there's a real simple, idea here, okay? Real simple premise. For all these wannabe, tech bros, billionaires, whatever, right? If you make something that people want to use, they're going to show up. Oh, weird, right? Oh my God. But of course, in order to do that, in order to make something that people want, you might have to have, I don't know, a brain. You might have to have a business plan for, social media. You might want to have some content moderation because nobody wants to be in a place where people are constantly screaming the N-word and platforming Nazis. And then you might want to have some innovation. Have a novel idea to bring people out to your site. And even then, of course, success is never guaranteed. And by the way, this also applies to companies that you've acquired, Elon Musk. At the end of the day, and this is why it's important to point these things out, that you actually have to have a plan, that you have to be smart. Because we don't need, as human beings, we do not need social media. We got along fine without social media before. We can go along fine without social media now. They need us, the users, far more than we have ever needed them. And then maybe, considering everything that's going on, perhaps they need a reminder. Okay. Let's move on here. It appears that the feud between former President Donald Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is starting to force people to take sides. Now, this has been going on for quite some time. Donald Trump has always, for some reason, seen Ron DeSantis as a bit of a threat, even though he massively outpolls Ron DeSantis. So, nonetheless, the fight was renewed during a Saturday rally in Pennsylvania when Donald Trump decided to bring up the polling and call Ron DeSantis something stupid.
We're winning big in the Republican Party for the nomination like nobody's ever seen before. Let's see, there it is, Trump at 71, Ron DeSanctimonious at 10%, Mike Pence at 7%. Oh, Mike's doing better than I thought. Liz Cheney, there's no way she's at 4%. There's no way. There's no way, but we're at 71 to 10 to 7 to 4. Ted Cruz is doing a good job, by the way. He didn't like me for a while, but we got to be friends, right?
Yes. We got to be friends.
Trump called your wife ugly and you loved it.
Great friends. Great friends. Okay. But look. Ron DeSanctimonious. Really? I mean, look, even I can say Donald Trump is pretty entertaining. I hate the guy, but entertaining, yes. That was not your best work, sir.
I know words. I have the best words.
No, not in this case. Not in this case at all. Terrible. Terrible. Look, Ben Shapiro, by the way, he actually weighed in on this, along with several other conservative commentators, which is why this is interesting, because it shows a little bit of a schism that's happening. Shapiro, and he actually posted something I agreed with. He said this. A few points on Ron DeSantis. Number one, terrible branding. Number two, remind everyone you have no discipline by attacking a top gubernatorial candidate popular with the base 2 days before an election and a week before launching a comeback campaign is an interesting strategy. No, Ben. I mean, yes, I generally agree with you, but it's not an interesting strategy. It's dumb. It's stupid. Can you say that? Can you say it's really, really stupid? Because it's stupid.
You idiot.
All right? I mean, look, he's right, though, that Donald Trump doesn't have discipline. He's never had discipline. And look, but what's more important here is that, remember, Trump has no love for the Republican Party. He has no loyalty to the Republican Party. Republican Party for him is a means to an end. And that's what it is. Donald Trump only cares about one thing, and that's Donald Trump. That's it. The polls, by the way, and you notice he's back to quoting the polls. Oh, the polls, look at the polls. I'm 70%. Because they stroke his ego. And that's it. He loves those polls. Doesn't matter if he's starting shit with other candidates. He doesn't care. And that even if he ultimately sinks other Republican candidates, it doesn't matter. He'll say, oh, that's because they weren't very good. Very bad candidates. In fact, they were just, I don't know what they were doing. Coffee boys and girls. That's all it was. Okay. But hey, if they win, yeah, it was my doing. I made them. I made Ron DeSantis. I made Kerry Lake. I made all of these. I made Doug Mastriano. I made all of them. Right. No, you didn't. But look, that said, he's not in for the movement, obviously. He's not a conservative. He's in it for himself, and he's always has been in it for himself. And to be fair, so are most politicians. But still, they kind of got to work together, and they kind of got these rules like, hey, we might want to, work together on this a little bit and not try to tear our party apart 2 days before an election. Or in this case, 1 day before an election. But anyway, what about the race between, or I should say, a potential race between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis? Well, that's interesting. DeSantis actually weighed in here, and apparently he will not run in 2024 if Donald Trump decides to run, which is interesting. Sources told Mediaite that DeSantis recently indicated to donors that he would not challenge Trump for the Republican nomination. Quote, he led them to believe that he will not run if Trump does. Another source told the outlet that DeSantis' calculus is that at age 44, he can just easily wait until the next presidential cycle. So why risk a brutal primary fight against a pugilist like Trump? Quote, he can walk into the presidency in 2028 without pissing off Trump or Florida, or said. Wait, hold on. That right there, it's kind of an assumption that if Trump would have run, he would lose. Oh, we can just walk into 2028, against Donald Trump, loser. It's sad. Really? No, DeSantis understand that he doesn't have a choice, a chance. He has no chance. No charisma. Nothing. Sorry, but not sorry. It's true. Again, you talk about Donald Trump being entertaining. Yes, that is one thing. People like to watch him at his rallies. Nobody likes to watch Ron DeSantis. He's like a piece of driftwood. It's like grass growing. It's very, very kind of nasally, a little whiny. Not interesting at all. That said, we'll go to others who are defending DeSantis and pushing back against Trump. Here is Matt Walsh. You know, the guy who likes, who believes that 17-year-old girls are most fertile, along with all other crazy things. DeSantis is an extremely effective conservative governor who has had real policy wins and real cultural wins. Trump is going to be able to take this one down with a dumb nickname. He better have more than that up his sleeve. Ron DeSantis, now you remember his, we caught 20 people with voter fraud. Look at all these people we caught with voter fraud. You know what? All of them, none of them were punished. That's it, because they didn't actually do that. Ridiculous. As far as policy wins, again, he got a lot of people in Florida killed through COVID. So I don't really know if you can call what he was doing as a winner, right? Not a big, it's not winning. We're not winning here. There's more. Town Hall columnist Kurt Schlichter tweeted this. It wasn't funny. If he had sat down and planned exactly how to remind everybody about their concerns about him, this was the way to do it. He has had a long list of great achievements, and all we can get is him making stupid nicknames about a successful rival 4 days before an election. First of all, you would think Donald Trump would actually sit down and plan how to remind anyone of anything? I don't think he can remember when to do certain things. Like, I'm serious. I think his brain is broken. That said, more. Chip Roy, Texas Republican, said this. Or Ron D said no to Fauci. That's another angle. Hashtag stand up for America. Okay. So, look, this is interesting because it fuels my speculation on, of course, Donald Trump, whether he runs in 2024 or not. Remember, I do believe that he does want to jump in the 2024 race. Yes, and I think he's going to do so not only out of a desire, of course, to get power, because he likes power, but I think also to outrun his legal troubles. And that announcement could come very, very soon. And look, those legal troubles involve January 6th, Justice Department. But look, I have my criticisms of the way that those investigations are going, and the fact that so far there's been no indictment against the former president. That said, maybe Ben Shapiro and others believe that there is, that there is a danger of these legal issues that might catch up to Donald Trump. And maybe they are actually afraid of Merrick Garland, which is kind of a weird thing to think. But I mean, look, if there was a lot of strength, then yeah, there would be indictments already. And the fact that there isn't, I just think they're being way too cautious, way too careful, way too slow. But that's just me. And you could disagree with me if you want. I think Garland has a good case against Donald Trump. I think the DOJ has a good case against Donald Trump, when it comes to not only January 6th, but of course the documents. But, and again, I don't know if they'll indict Trump. I just don't know. It's just my speculation. But that said, I do see Trump taking more shots at DeSantis because it's just who Donald Trump is. And, as long as he's able to do so, he's going to keep doing it. Okay. That's it. Let's move on to the next one here. Spent enough time on that. It appears some voters in Representative Lauren Boebert's district are fed up with the QAnon congresswoman. Interesting. According to several Colorado newspapers, including the Colorado Sun, the Steamboat Pilot, and Today, and the Aspen Times, who interviewed people all over Boebert's district to, of course, see what unaffiliated voters think of her. So, again, these are the swing voters. They could go one way or another. In her district, 31% of voters are registered Republicans, 24% are Democrats, and 44% are unaffiliated. So that's a really big pool that could make the difference. But that said, unaffiliated doesn't necessarily mean that they won't vote for Republicans. It just means they're unaffiliated with either party, but it doesn't mean that they don't lean in either direction. So if there are more Republican leaners, then yeah, you're going to have more Republicans. But let's get to the responses, right? 70-year-old Marilyn Morris of Pueblo said this about Boebert, quote, "I don't like the way she behaves in Congress. That is not respectful, and I wouldn't vote for her for that reason alone." All right, cool. Oh, she continued by saying, "She's just lying all the time, so I just don't trust her." Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. 59-year-old Richard Hirano of Craig said this, quote, "I think Boebert is kind of crazy, but I don't think the other party has any better options. I just think she's sometimes off the deep end. She sounds like she's trying to push that we need to be ruled by religious belief." Well, that's exactly what she's doing. Look, I'm going to show you her exact words on this.
The church is supposed to direct the government. The government is not supposed to direct the church. That is not how our founding fathers intended it. And I'm tired of this separation of church and state junk that's not in the Constitution. It was in a stinking letter, and it means nothing like what they say it does.
Okay. It's very, very clear that she hasn't read the Constitution. It's literally in the First Amendment. The very First Amendment! How did you not go that far? I mean, I know that she can't read. Obviously. She couldn't even get that far. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. That sure doesn't sound like, the church directing the government. How much more obvious could it be that the only thing that she wants is a Christian theocracy? That's un-American. 100% un-American. Literally not what the founders were in favor of, and actually had set up this secular government to avoid doing that same thing. Un-American, un-American. But there's more. Deputy Cooper, 39 of Grand Junction, said that while she has conservative values, she would write in a candidate rather than support Boebert. Again, talking about unaffiliated voters, here we already have someone who's like, the other side just doesn't have any better options. I mean, we have Christian neo-fascist, but then the Democrats not that great either, It's like, I don't know. This is hard. Really, is it that hard? It's frustrating. But then, this woman's like, I have conservative values. Of course I'm never going to vote for a Democrat. But I can't support Boebert either. In fact, she says, quote, "I just feel like she's more focused on attention than getting stuff done." 38-year-old Anthony Medved of Durango echoed something similar, saying, quote, "I think Boebert cares more about her persona than she does of actually making a difference in this world." Adding that she's giving his state and country a terrible look. Oh, no kidding. She needs to be removed from her responsibilities, and I will be encouraging anyone I talk to vote against her and her radical thoughts and actions. Okay, so great. Wonderful. That said, obviously, Boebert has a ton of support, and the polling is on her side. And let me give you one of those. This 44-year-old Joshua Burt of Rangeley, who said that Boebert was a little too extreme, but Then he wants Republicans to be like her and to oppose people who are, quote unquote, pushing pornography into our schools. So, hey, good news. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's pushing pornography into schools. So you don't have to worry. Nailed it. Good job. Good job.
Sexual anarchy.
My God, man. They literally still believe that. And they think that you got the, litter boxes in the classrooms. That's not actually real. It's not reality. But see, this is what happens when you're in that right-wing ecosystem. Somebody will make up outrageous things, and it happens all the time, unfortunately. Those outrageous things get picked up and amplified by, whether it be, podcasters, broadcasters, eventually making its way up to frickin' Tucker Carlson, and they all believe it without actual evidence. And in fact, despite evidence to the contrary, where we know that these things are not happening, but they say it anyway. It's ridiculous. It is a groupthink mentality where they just say, whatever, right? Facts don't matter. But if everyone else around me believes it, then it must be true. Oh, they won't lie. My friend wouldn't lie to me. Would they? He says he saw it on Fox News. And Fox News, they don't lie. They don't lie. Evidence is just a liberal conspiracy, don't you know? Yeah, okay. But he continues. And Boebert, she's done amazing. On what? I love her stand on our gun rights. And I love the fact that she keeps calling out these effing morons for what they are. Now, I hate to break it to you, dude. Joshy Poo, you're the moron. You're not a smart person falling for obvious fake news. I mean, look, sure, you can like her for being pro-gun. Fine, that's nothing wrong with that. Okay, pro-Second Amendment, I'm pro-Second Amendment, sure. But I do think that personally, she is a reckless danger to everyone around her and her family. By the way, speaking of her family, another danger is her husband around teen girls, specifically bar waitresses. But seriously, though, this guy, or Lauren Boebert herself, calling anybody stupid is the epitome of the pot calling the kettle black. Great example. But unfortunately, again, even with all the negative responses here, there's a very, very good chance that nothing will change and that she's safe in her seat. She'll win. And that's a bummer. 538 rates Boebert as highly favored to win. But that said, it's not set in stone. The polls have been all over the place in this midterm. I don't honestly have no idea where this election is going to land. Whether it's going to be a blue wave, it's going to be a red wave, we don't know. I just don't know. So that means if you can't go out and vote if you haven't already. That said, I'm going to say that I think Boebert winning re-election is still a more likely outcome because of this. And I'm saying this as an analysis, not that I approve of this. There is an appetite for disruption, especially among the right wing, but it's also on the left. Disruption is what Boebert does. Marjorie Greene, same thing. Disruption. They came in to break shit. And they're doing just that. They're not building anything. They're not creating anything. They're certainly not serving anything except for themselves. And that's not the point. The point of voting them into office is to break things, to break it, to destroy it. And look, Boebert's probably doing a little bit of self-dealing on the side. I've talked about those reports before, trying to help her now defunct restaurant, as well as lying about her mileage, get money from her donors, et cetera, et cetera. But that said, look, I wouldn't be surprised if none of her supporters ever heard of any of those things that she did wrong. Very, very possible. Or they don't care. And again, the only purpose of putting her in power that they know is to own the libs. And that's exactly why some of these people will do the same thing come the election. There you go. All right, let's get a story here about the Capitol riot. Got a rioter here. The leader of the Oath Keepers, Stuart Rhodes, who's currently on trial for seditious conspiracy, wants to wash his hands of the whole thing and blame someone else, of course. Specifically, pointing at one of his fellow Oath Keepers for the decision to enter the Capitol building on January 6th. So now, Politico's Kyle Cheney reports that Rhodes, during his Monday morning testimony, claimed that, hey, look, I didn't want the Oath Keepers in the Capitol building. I really didn't. I didn't tell them to go in there. I didn't say go in. I didn't want them in there. So you can't blame me for what they did. Oh, really? Well, then, who did? Well, he pointed at fellow Oath Keeper Kelly Meggs and said that he had gone off mission. It was him. Get him. It wasn't me. No, it was Kelly. He did it. He led the group inside. In fact, Rhodes told the court, I didn't want them getting wrapped up in all the nonsense with Trump supporters. Bro, you're a Trump supporter. Why were you there? If not, my goal was to make sure that no one got wrapped up in that Charlie Foxtrot going on inside the Capitol. And look, we all know what he means by Charlie Foxtrot. Clusterfuck. Well, gee, if it was such a mess, and you knew it was going to be such a mess, then why did your people go there to begin with? What was the point? Yeah. Again, I'm going to call bullshit. Again, Oath Keepers were only there for one reason, and that one reason was to help in the reinstallation of Donald Trump as an illegitimate president. Now, look, let me give some nuance here and kind of explain what's going on. So there was two parts to this coup, right? There was the rioters who would never have been able to hold, the Capitol building. They would have been cleared out, and really, that was not the main focus here. The main focus was actually dealing with Trump and his inner circle and the fake electors, as well as Mike Pence, that was asked to delay the certification of the election. Of course, we got all that from Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, that whole Green Bay sweep, and all of that stuff. But this was part of that distraction. That distraction, however, might have led to, like Mike Pence, Nancy Pelosi, AOC, other members of Congress possibly getting hurt or killed had they not been evacuated. That said, these militia guys were likely serving as brown shirts. They couldn't wait to go in. They couldn't wait to F things up. Prosecutors alleged that Rhodes and four of the militia members actually spent months planning this, training in an armed rebellion, and had guns stashed in the Washington, D.C. hotel. And while Rhodes did not enter the building, prosecutors alleged that he directed his group from afar, like a general, as they stormed into the Capitol. Now, it's kind of funny that they use that analogy, because it sounds about right. Generals never go into the fray. And in this case, whatever happened in the field would give implausible deniability. So very likely, he had this defense ready beforehand. Now, where's the evidence, of course, that Rhodes was giving orders? Well, jurors were shown surveillance footage and text messages, and also saw a recording of Rhodes 4 days after the riot, in which he said his only regret was not bringing rifles to the Capitol. So if he wanted his people armed and admitted it after the fact, then it's very clear that he wanted those people to go in. Here's what he said. Quote, "We could have fixed it right then and there. I'd hang effing Pelosi from the lamppost." Of course, when he was asked about this comment, he was like, "Oh, yeah, I just had a couple of drinks at dinner. You know, hey, look, you have a couple of beers, you know, talk about a little bit of treason. You know, it's normal. It's beer guy talk. I like beer. I drink beer. I like beer. Sometimes I say things I don't mean, like, you know, hanging a United States Congresswoman. I mean, it doesn't everybody, right? Right? Consider the timing here, by the way, of this of these you know, comments being brought up. It's not long after an unhinged lunatic attacked the Pelosi household. I'm not saying that they're related. I'm just saying the timing is interesting here. And this lunatic had done so after consuming right-wing conspiracy theories. For example, mass voter fraud, election fraud in 2020. But no, on a stand Monday, Rhodes told jurors that he had spent the morning at the riots at the hotel and only went to the Capitol when he learned the news that the barricades of the government building had been breached by the rioters. He said it had never crossed his mind that Oath Keepers had entered the building and insisted that he never suggested anyone go disrupt the electoral certification, and claimed that it wasn't until later that evening he learned his rogue group had stormed the Capitol and immediately voiced his concerns with their actions. "It was not our mission that day to enter the Capitol for any reason," he added under cross-examination. "I think anyone who assaults a police officer should be prosecuted," he said about what he called the horrific events at the Capitol. "We have absolutely zero tolerance for someone putting hands on a police officer." Oh, okay, so no tolerance for putting hands on a police officer. Should never do that. But a United States Congresswoman, string her up. That's what they were saying. Hang my pants. Oh, let me forget. Oh, it's hang my pants. That's it. They were just doing laundry. That's what they were doing. They were supporting laundry. You see, everybody else, the Antifers, we're doing hang my pants. We're really, all the Oath Keepers were in there chanting, "Hang my pants." You see? That's how that all went down. Yeah, that's her story. They're sticking to it. Let me tell you. Look, obviously ridiculous, but he gave himself away. Earlier in the trial, he had said, quote, "I support the right to riot," before correcting himself to say, I support the right to protest. Or always, I support the right to bring my laundry to the Capitol building. They've got a good dry cleaner. What can I say? Hang my pants. No, that seems more than just an oopsie to me, but that's just, that's my take here. Now, prosecutors also displayed evidence that the Oath Keepers had stockpiled the firearms, as I mentioned earlier, in a hotel room outside of Washington for so-called quick reaction forces that could be deployed into the nation's capital. Quick reaction force, huh? Gee, for what? For what? What are you reacting to, buddy? Please tell me. Look, if you weren't planning on joining the rioters, why bring your guns? Really? Did you expect there to be some sort of violence? And why would you do that? Why would you expect violence? Oh, no, it's the left. It's the left. I thought the left were a bunch of soy latte drinking people who hate guns. Why do they never get their story straight? Either the left is like jackbooted thugs and that are incredibly dangerous, or they're soy swilling, latte drinking, wearing mom jeans with, man buns and eating soy and literally beta males. I don't understand. They have two different, it's like Schrodinger's leftist. Which one's right? Which one's right? Look, but here's the thing, okay? It seems pretty obvious that they weren't planning on aiding the police, considering how his group was the one who charged in with the mob that was beating up police. And so there's two possibilities here. Either he had no control over his own people, which says something about, of course, his management style, that nobody listens to the leader of this Oath Keepers. So I'm guessing that those people had broken said oath, whatever that is. Or the more real possibility is he wanted them there, even though he had a plan for plausible deniability. Which is it? Because that's the only two options I see. Look, the guy's covering his ass, obviously, and is throwing, his allies or friends, even his former lawyer, under the bus. Rhodes pointed the finger at his one-time attorney, Kelly Sorrell, for the decision of the Oath Keepers to delete messages they had sent one another from their phones. Rhodes said of his conversation with Sorrell, quote, "I told her to tell them to use their rights to remain silent. She added on her own to delete them." Really? How convenient. How convenient it is that those messages are gone. You know, that prevents that from being used against you and allowing you to, blame your ex-lawyer. That's great. In his own telling, Stuart Rhodes is just an innocent bystander. No, not just an innocent bystander, but a protector of the police, a protector of the Capitol building itself, and furthermore, a hero that should be lauded, but was betrayed by those around him and is now unfairly targeted by the police, by the left. Right. Main character syndrome all the way. Hell of a story. I don't believe a damn bit of it. And I hope the jury doesn't either. That's it. That's all I got for y'all today. Thank you for going around the nation with me. Appreciate it. We're gonna head out after I read some super chats. Jonathan Leiter says, "Call me Elon Musk." Says Harmon Melville. Also from Jonathan, Twitter has gone from the Calcutta of the internet to the new North Korea. Time to give it up. You know what? I'm going to stay till the Bird app falls because it's too much fun to watch everything fall to pieces and then get bought up for. Gale, thank you for being a member for 14 months. By the way, thank you, Jonathan, for being a member for 15 months. You can become a member by hitting the join button below. Love, like, and solidarity. Vibes to Nation, thank you. Also, trans rights. Changing DJ, thank you for the $2. Larry the Cable Guy's line, get her done. I know. Still, I don't understand why you would name a social media company after Getter. And by the way, shouldn't then Larry the Cable Guy be suing Jason Miller for that? I mean, that's just my. Oh, Alex Hopkins, thank you for the very kind of nearly $5. Appreciate that. Thank you. Glitter was taken. Oh, well, that would make more sense, wouldn't it? Because of the whole
sexual anarchy.
And Donald Trump even promised.
We have to keep our country gay.
Got to keep our country gay. Damn straight. Okay. Anyway, thank you for all that. Appreciate that. S Bloom 85. Thank you for resubbing for Prime for 23 months. Almost 2 years. Wow. How'd the time flown by? Flied by. I have the best words. I have the great words. The greatest words ever. Okay. Anyway, will I be changing the show time? I still haven't made a decision on that. But I'll let you know when I do. or if I do. So I don't know. Just keep showing up at this time for now. And I'll let you know, like I said, if I make a decision and when and if that would happen. All right. Twitch. Let's see. Haven't done a... Yeah, we'll do a left flank. That's raid on this one. I got some Lies 8 to play. Very good. That's a very good game. As 5. Very, very good game indeed. I believe it's what Lacrimosa, Donna? That's really good. So you know, I'm sure you'll have fun with that. I certainly did. All right. With that, love you all. Have a great evening. See you back here tomorrow for Election Day. Even though I will not have an election because I don't have that much time. All right, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great night. And remember, change. Yeah.
Tolerate. Dismiss rights. People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times. Tighten up my meat. I like my meat tight.
Please clap.
Obama. Truth, essential.
They're kicking me out the door. They're kicking me out the door.